Good morning. So I'm going to give you that beautiful shot. We're outside, getting our walk in. There she is. Oh, look at those white flowers over there. They're so pretty. Big trumpets. And here we are. So good morning. How are you today? How did you sleep? Hopefully you slept well. If not, maybe you slept well for a little bit would be good. I actually slept well, so that was good. And I got to bed at a decent hour. And I got up this morning, went and did my workout. It's Thursday morning. Happy Thursday. And little girl is stopping. I don't know. Right in front of me. I don't know why. So today is Thursday. And she's got something's catching her. She's going to pull me with her. I'm not going down there, so let's come on, girl. Oh yeah, so today's Thursday. Went for my workout this morning, and it was a struggle. Not gonna lie, but I did it. These overhead things when you lie on the bench really got me, and the lunges with the weight. I had to use my one hand to help the other one back up today. I don't know what it is. Today was a bit more of a struggle than usual, I suppose I should say. But I did it. And that's the important part. Completed everything. And came to give little miss her walk. Good morning. So, last night I got to thinking about attachments. And more so attachment to outcomes. And how we end up disappointed. Because we get these things in our head about the way things are supposed to be, the way things are supposed to go, the way things are supposed to turn out. Not necessarily the way they're supposed to go, but the way they're supposed to turn out. And I think that if we can kind of let go of the attachment to the outcome, we might be happier. Just might be a little bit happier. Things don't always go the way we want them to go. We know that. I can use the swimming pool as an example. I mean, I would love for somebody to be there every day, doing something, anything, but that's just not the way it's going. So, now I will say, I do expect the outcome to be a certain way. You know, I expect it to hold water, not leak, all of that. I expect it to be as close to the drawing as possible. And an example of how I let a certain attachment go. The bench is supposed to be on the house side, not on the street side of the pool. But for whatever reason, the way they dug it out, which is probably the plan that the contractor gave him, has it on the street side. So that's where we're at. That's what we got. And that's okay. It's not going to be the make all be all, end all of this pool. So I'm going to just go ahead and let that part go. And that's okay. I use an example when I talk about attachment to my students of brides. How brides will become those bridezillas, right? And what happens is, since we're little kids, right? When we're little bitty girls, we have this idea of what our wedding is going to be like. Now, everything just has to be perfect. And everything is going perfectly. But then the florist gives you the wrong shade of pink in the flowers. And these women lose their mind. And is it really that big of a deal? Okay. I mean, I suppose if you're paying extra for a certain shade and it's not that way, okay, it's not that way. Let's go ahead, adjust the price. But to lose your mind over the wrong shade of pink in your flowers, nobody knows but you. Right? Your guests aren't going to come to your wedding and go, oh, that is the wrong shade of pink. That should never be. They're not. They're there hopefully for a good meal and to definitely, just share in the moment with you. So, but we get that way because we're attached to outcomes. Because of these pictures we paint in our head. Sometimes long term, and sometimes they're short term, but we still get them kind of embedded in us. So maybe try not to be attached to the outcome. I know that I suffered some disappointment when, another example from my life, my son, when he was graduating high school, I wanted to throw him a big graduation party. Because, if you know me, I like to party. Well, I shouldn't say I like to party. I like to entertain. I like to throw the parties. So, of course, I had a child, and from the time I had my child, I knew these little milestone markers are going to come. And in my mind, I planned them out. This is going to be wonderful. His first birthday, his 10th birthday, whatever those milestones are, his graduation from high school. And I was all excited. Not only was he graduating high school, but he was going ahead and he was, in the top of his class. Morning, ladies. So it was a big deal. Graduate with honors. It was a big deal to me. Maybe because I didn't graduate with honors. I don't know. But to me, it was a big deal. And I told him, okay, let's plan out this party. Should we go with, the John I theme? Just do it all black, orange, and white. And he said, well, am I going to have beer at the party? I said, no. You're not 18. Your friends aren't 18. There won't be no drinking. And he said, well, I don't want one then. I said, oh, okay. And let it go. Inside, I was crushed. I wanted to do this party, However, would have been very irresponsible of me to knowingly allow alcohol to be at a party with underage children. So it was a no on my part. Then it was a no on his part. So I didn't get to throw that party. And then there would have been college, right? Hopefully there would have been that graduation from college, but that didn't happen. There would have been a wedding, but that didn't happen. But those are all things that we get attached to. And it didn't happen and we'll have another video on everything that did happen. But it didn't happen because my son passed away. So if you don't know, now you know. And so I feel like, my disappointment was because I was attached to these outcomes, these milestones, these markers in his life that I was counting on. Right? And what we want, what someone else wants, can be different. And that's okay. So, maybe the next time you're feeling disappointed in something or someone, just take a pause and find out why you're feeling disappointed. Because it's something you wanted? Because you had in your mind at some point that it was going to go this way and this is what we were going to do? We get attached to outcomes. Same thing with relationships, right? I mean, if you think about it, we get married. Nobody gets married with the intention of getting a divorce. Nobody does. But, we get married and we think it's going to be forever. Most of us are not delusional to know that, to think that it's going to be totally problem-free. But we never think that the problems we may go through are not going to be fixable, workable, what have you. And the marriage ends, and we're depressed, and we're upset, and we're disappointed. Because we're very attached to that relationship lasting until we died. So the relationship died before we did, that's all. Sometimes it's just differences that we can't work out. Sometimes it's worse, it's abusive. Definitely don't stay in abusive relationships. And if you happen to be the abuser, go for help. There's no shame in it. There's always a reason why. And we just have to be able to get to that root cause, as they say, and figure that out and then work through it. So, yeah, attachment was on my mind. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And more so attachment to outcomes. Attachment to things, probably a whole nother thing. But those attachments to outcomes can lead us to just great feelings of disappointment, sometimes depression. So when we start to feel that way because something's not going to end up the way we imagined it to, kind of go back, take a look at it, and say, well, this is what I expected out of it. Didn't work out that way. Yeah, it's a bummer. But that just means there's something better out there for me. And that better may not come immediately. It'll come eventually. And when it does, you kind of sit back and be like, oh, finally, and that's what it was for. So thanks for joining me on my TED Talk and our little morning check-in. And I hope you're still practicing ahimsa. And I will talk to you soon. Have an amazing day.